What's going on everyone? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another new video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the final weapon that got added Tuesday. This time we're going to be taking a look at the machine gun, the SPELEOLOGIST. I think that's how you say it. It sounds right to me. So we're going to be going over all the perks that this weapon can get, what are some of the best ones, and the ones that you should be looking for if you want to god roll this weapon. And afterwards we'll have a mini review where I just kind of discuss what I like or dislike about the weapon. But before we get into any of that, let's actually talk about how to actually get this weapon. And you're going to be able to get this weapon in a very similar way that you've been getting the other weapons, from the seasonal activities. So yeah, you have a chance of getting this from the seasonal activities. Also, if you focus the engrams are fail-safe, you can also get them. But you can't actually focus this weapon yet till next week, if this works like it worked back in episode 2. So right now it is a little harder to get your hands on the new weapons, but don't worry, as we'll get along through the weeks, it's gonna get easier and easier, and eventually you'll be able to craft this thing and craft your perfect god roll. This LMG is a solar machine gun, which we haven't seen quite a long time. We actually don't have that many solar machine guns, and it's a rapid fire frame, meaning that it's got deeper ammo reserves, and it also reloads faster with magazines empty, as well as 900 RPM rate of fire, which means that this weapon is going to be quite divisive, and we're going to talk about that a little later. But yeah, that on itself is going to make some of you guys already like the machine gun, and some of you guys are definitely going to dislike it immediately. This weapon, like all the other Vets weapons, comes with the origin trait, Radial Area Transposer, meaning that when you get some rapid final blows, targets can explode into a pool of radial area fluid. So it adds a little bit extra ad clear and a bit of extra damage, but it's not really like a game changing origin trait. But now let's actually move on and talk about the perks that we can get on this weapon. We're just gonna be taking a look at the trait perks, since that's really what matters on this LMG. So let's get into it. So let's start off with the very first perk, and these are gonna be our options right here. We have Enlighten Action, Heal Clip, Stats Furrow, Deconstruction, Firmly Planted, Sideways, and lastly we have Envious Assassin. And we actually have quite a few that we're going to talk about here, so let's start actually from top. So the very first one is going to be Enlighten Action. Whenever we do some damage, it's going to improve our reload speed and our handling. The main reason that you would want to use this is for that extra reload speed, or just make this thing reload crazy fast. So it's really good for the reload speed. The handling will make the weapon feel a little better, but in PvE, it won't really come into play too often. After that, we're going to have the classic Heal Clip, which is going to heal us every time we reload after getting a kill. Heal Clip is usually really good, and especially since this can also get Incandescent in the other slot, so the Heal Clip Incandescent perk combo is actually possible in this machine gun. The only problem is, since this is a machine gun, and it does take a little bit longer to reload than, a primary weapon, I feel like you don't really get the most of the Heal Clip as you would with like a primary or a special weapon. It just takes really long to reload because it's a machine gun that even with high reload speed, it is gonna take quite a while. So because of that, it actually kind of makes it a bit annoying to reload after every kill, just to get that Heal Clip to proc. So for the very first time, Heal Clip is not just one of the best perks that you can actually get on this weapon, which is surprising because usually if a weapon has Heal Clip, that's always a good choice. But I feel like with this machine gun, you really have just better choices. After that, we're going to have Stats Furrow. Whenever we hit 3 separate targets, we're going to gain increased handling, stability, reload speed, and even some range. This is good for the increased reload speed and the extra stability, especially since this perk can be procced pretty easily. You also have 1 Furrow in the other slot as well, so you can pair up Stats Furrow with 1 Furrow, and it makes this weapon feel like a super LMG. Now another perk that's going to be really good on this weapon is going to be Sideways. Basically whenever we slide, we refill 15% of the magazine, and since our magazine is so big with this machine gun, 15% is quite a bit of shots. If you're like me and just constantly slide all the time, then Sideways can actually be pretty good. It can actually put a lot of bullets into your mag, and you also get a bit of extra handling and stability after the slide, which makes the weapon feel a little bit more stable, which is something that I haven't really talked about too much because I was saving it for like the review part of it, but this thing can kick quite a lot. And the last perk that I would say is pretty good in this slot would be Envious Assassin. So Envious Assassin is gonna overflow our magazine whenever we get some kills with other weapons, and that can actually lead to the mag on this weapon being huge, and it's really good. Envious Assassin is fantastic on this machine gun. I would definitely recommend it. So I would say the best perks definitely are Enlightened Action, Stats Furrow, Sideways, and also Envious Assassin. Now moving on to the second perk, these are going to be the options that we have. We have Strategist, Adagio, One for All, Target Lock, Surrounded, Incandescent, and lastly we have Killing Tally. And you know, we're actually going to start from the top again. Let's start with One for All. It has a 35% damage increase, and the activation requirement is not so bad. All you have to do is hit 3 separate targets, and this pairs up really well with Stats Roll specifically. Hitting 3 separate targets is like literally the same requirement as Stats Roll, so not only do you get that extra damage, you're also going to get the extra reload speed, handling, and stability from Stats Roll. So if you want to go for One for All, I would 100% recommend it that you match it with Stats Roll. After that, we have Target Lock. Now, Target Lock, I kind of consider for a little bit, but since we don't really have a perk that gives us back free ammo, like 4 times the charm, then that really reduces the amount of value we can get out of Target Lock, since we can't just get ammo out of thin air and just continue to fire this weapon for a long time. So because of that, I would say that Target Lock is just okay. It's definitely not great, and I wouldn't really recommend it. There's just gonna be better perks. After that, we're gonna have Incandescent. Incandescent is gonna be great. It's gonna give you a bit of extra ad clear, and it's gonna give the weapon some really nice synergy with solar builds. The great thing about Incandescent is that you don't really need to pair it with something specific. You could go with Envious Assassin, you could go for Sideways, for Enlightened Action. You can really just pair it up with any other perk on the third slot, and it's gonna be a pretty good perk just because Incandescent is a really solid perk. And the last perk that I think is gonna be good on this weapon is, of course, Killing Tally. Killing Tally is gonna give us a 30% damage increase when it's stacked up, and the great thing about it is that it never goes away as long as we don't really have to reload the weapon or put the weapon away. And thankfully, we have 2 perks that are going to be really good at keeping up Killing Tally. The first one is going to be Envious Assassin. With Envious, all you have to do is just overflow your magazine. Then when you pull out your mag with like 200 rounds on it, you're going to have a lot of time with Killing Tally. You're going to be able to kill a lot of ads before you actually have to reload or switch to another weapon. Or if overflowing your weapon is not your thing, you just kind of want to have the machine gun out at all times, you could also pair it up with Slideways. Slideways is going to give you back 15% of the magazine every time you slide. So with enough slides, and as long as you're not just dumping ammo out there, you could pretty much never have to reload this weapon and always keep Killing Tally up. That's actually kind of a bit of a interesting challenge, getting Killing Tally with Slideways and just seeing how far you can go into like a Grandmaster Rifle without having to reload. That might be something I need to try. But yeah, that's another combo that you can definitely pull off to get the most out of Killing Tally. Especially since this weapon already has like a really good magazine. It has 73 at base. And that's before you get any magazine perks or put a backup mag on the weapon. You're usually looking like at 100 plus bullets per mag with this types of machine guns. So Killing Tally is going to be a pretty good choice. Incandescent is going to be a pretty good choice. And also One for All, I think is going to be another pretty good choice. There's other perks that I also didn't mention that also can be pretty decent, like Strategists, but they definitely are going to be more niche. But those 3 are always going to be good. So now let's actually move on and talk about some god rolls for this weapon. And the first one that I want to take a look at is going to be Enlightened Action plus Incandescent. This is going to work pretty well. You get the extra reload speed from Enlightened Action, and you also get that extra ad clear from Incandescent. But Incandescent can really work with anything on the first slot, so don't just think that it only works with Enlightened Action. It can really work with everything. That's what's just so good about Incandescent. After that, we're going to have the Stats for One for combo, and this one's going to be really good. The 2 perks are basically made for each other, so this one's going to give you a lot of extra damage, some handling, some reload speed, It's pretty much just gonna make the weapon feel better, reload faster, and have extra damage. And lastly, for killing tally, you can really go with a lot of different perks, but the best ones are definitely gonna be envious or sideways. But those right there I think are gonna be the best rolls that you can get on this weapon, and are gonna be my go-to god rolls. But let me know in the comments below, what is the god roll that you guys are gonna be going for? Is it gonna be something like this, or is it gonna be something different? Let me know that in the comments below. And now let's actually talk a little bit about this weapon. But so let's start off by saying that I actually really like this machine gun. There's a couple of things that it's got going for it. It is definitely more of an ad clear machine gun. It has like ad clear perks, and you're not really gonna be damaging anything with this machine gun. If you're planning on doing DPS, then there's so many other better options. Don't even bother with this machine gun. But if you want to use this machine gun for ad clear, then this is gonna be perfect for it. And it's also a solar machine gun, which is not something that we have a lot of. So that on its own already makes it pretty attractive, especially when some of the other solar machine guns that we do have are a little bit harder to get. This one's definitely gonna be like the most accessible and just like the easiest to get machine gun. Now the thing that I don't like about this machine gun is that it's a 900 RPM machine gun, because man does it kick so much. If you ever decide to use full out of this machine gun, it's gonna kick and you're gonna feel it, and you're gonna miss a lot of your shots. So I recommend that you fire this thing in burst. You don't really wanna lay on the trigger with this machine gun unless you're shooting like at a big target like a boss or a major that's not really moving too much. Then you could just completely unload with this machine gun. But most of the time against ads, you definitely are gonna wanna use tap fire the machine gun, because not only are you gonna waste a bunch of ammo, but you're also probably gonna miss a bunch of shots. So that's like the main downside of the machine gun, that it does not feel as good as the adaptive machine guns, the 450s. But that's what I think about it. I think it's definitely a machine gun that's worth it, and I'm definitely gonna be using it every once in a while. But let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think about this machine gun? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Let me know all that in the comments below. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. Thank you all for stopping by, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care everyone. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.